Hello, friends. This is Pastor Randall. Thank you for joining me today as we look at Deuteronomy chapters 22 and 23. The instruction for living continues in the land they shall inherit. Chapter 22, verses 1 through 4, gives instruction. If you see your neighbor's donkey or oxen get in trouble, whether they fall in a ditch or they wander off of their land, it is your job to return them to their owner. So we're in the sort of property laws and how you are to treat your neighbor's stuff. And it begins with oxen and donkey, but it even says in verse 3, you shall do the same with the neighbor's donkey. You shall do the same with the neighbor's garment. You shall do the same with anything else your neighbor loses and you find. You do not withhold your help. So we are a community that respects boundaries, that returns your stuff. Then there is this weird sort of, a woman shall not wear a man's apparel, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment. Whoever does so is icky to the Lord. That is sort of a weird insert, but that's the next thing. If you come upon a bird's nest in any tree or on the ground with fledglings or eggs, the mother is setting on the fledglings or the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young. Again, this sort of compassion for nature that's built into Deuteronomy. You can eat the eggs, you can eat the young, but leave the mother to have new babies, and you will live long in the land. Because again, many times these come. When you build a new house, you should make a parapet around the roof. You should make it so nobody can fall off, because again, we talked about blood guilt before and how you had to kill an ox to cleanse the town of an unsolved crime. If someone falls off your roof, you are guilty of that. Then we get to the you shall not sow in your vineyard two kinds of seeds, where the yield will be forbidden. You shall not plow with an ox and donkey yoked together. You shall not wear clothes made of wool and linen woven together. Bad idea, even though we do it all the time, right? You shall make tassels for the four corners of your cloak, which you use to cover yourself. Now, then there is these laws that are a little bit better for women. If a man marries a woman and then he doesn't like her, so he makes up a charge against her, I'm pretty sure she wasn't a virgin, and it can be proven that she was, because there's a test, then he has to pay 100 shekels to her father for impinging his good name. Men always make out better. And he is now forbidden to ever divorce her, ever, ever, ever. If the charge is true and they can find out she's not, then not only is her father shamed, but she's stoned to death. Again, the women always get the bad end of it. If a man is discovered with another man's wife, they are both to be put to death. If a young woman already engaged to be married and a man meets her in town and lies with her, you shall bring them both to the gate and stone them to death, because she violated her oath and he violated, again, this is more property laws than actual sexual ethics. If a man meets an engaged woman in an open country and he takes her by force, he has to pay her father a bride price, and then he is disallowed from ever divorcing her. Likewise, you cannot marry your father's wife. One would assume after he passes away, or maybe not, because then you impinge upon his property. So chapter 22 has, insights to a kinder, gentler, if you will, Israel, but also has some throwbacks to some terrible times, especially for women. Chapter 23 gives us the idea that the assembly of God needs to be pure people. Your genitals cannot be mangled. They must be working order. It's only men. It can't be any foreigners. It must be people who also are like not of the folks. It reminds them that the Edomites, which are the descendants of Esau, are their kin, and so don't treat them badly. Treat them as if they're friendly. Also, when you're getting ready for war, you can't have sexual relations. You can't do things that would make you unclean. There is a whole act here of being ready. If you make a vow to the Lord, and then after the whole, get ready for war stuff, because we want you to be pure. There's verse 15 has this interesting, and then it goes into like this thing of laws. 15, you shall not return to their owners slaves who have escaped to you from their owners. They shall reside with you in your midst in a place they choose in one of your towns, wherever you please. You shall not oppress them. So Israel is to be a place of sanctuary for runaway slaves from other people. Now, when they run away. None of your daughters shall serve as temple prostitutes. That kind of makes sense. Neither shall your boys, for that matter. You shall not charge interest on loans with another Israelite. On loans with a foreigner, you may charge interest, but it has to be a reasonable interest. If you make a vow to God, do not postpone fulfilling it. If you go to your neighbor's vineyard, if you're there and you're hungry, you may eat your fill, but don't bring a container. The etiquette there is, I'm hungry. The hospitality of my neighbor is to feed me if I'm hungry, to provide me food, but at the same time, I'm not supposed to hoard it. And it ends with, if you go into your neighbor's standing grain, you may pluck ears with your hand, but you shall not put a sickle. So again, this idea of mutual sharing, but the mutual sharing also has limits. And that's where chapter 23 brings us down. Again, these law things sometimes seem kind of random. Sometimes they're tied together. It's a bit of a thing to read, but here we are. And thank you for being with me today. Of course, share, subscribe to our channel, and God bless.